Good morning. Here we are again with the next of our Bible studies. This is day 236. We are in the middle of looking at the teachings and doctrines and practices of St. Paul. And here we have an intriguing passage about longing, about liberation, and about deep prayer. This is Romans chapter 8, verses 18 to 27. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory about to be revealed for us. For the creation waits in eager expectancy for the revealing of the children of God. For the creation was subject to futility, not of its own will, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be set free from its captivity to deterioration and will acquire the freedom of the glory of the children of God. Up to this present time, the whole of creation is groaning in pain. It's like the contractions of childbirth. And it's not just creation groaning on its own. We who have had the Spirit given to us as the first of God's gifts, we too are groaning deep within as we wait for God to make us into his children, as we wait for him to set us completely free. We were saved by this hope. But if we can already see what we are hoping for, it has stopped being a hope. You don't need to hope for something you've already got. We are hoping for something we haven't got yet, and we are expected to wait for it patiently. In exactly the same way, the Spirit also comes to help us because of our weakness. We are at a loss how to pray. But the Spirit asks God earnestly on our behalf in groans that mere words can't express. And because God can see into our minds, he knows what the Spirit is thinking, because the Spirit pleads with God on behalf of God's people and in perfect accord with God's wishes. Back in the writings of the later Isaiah, see, for instance, day 208 and the following days, the chosenness of God's people was expanded to include people of other nations who were also to be included amongst God's people. Paul had been aware of that, and once he was converted, he set about bringing good news to the Gentile world in which he had been brought up. Here today, he was taking a further step. He knew that the world was subject to ancient forces that were turning God's clock back, taking what was orderly and rendering it back again into primeval chaos. Paul's new Christian hope was that a large number of people who were destined to be saved would be incorporated into the body of Christ. But there at the back of his mind was the idea that eventually all people would be offered the free gift of salvation. The powers of destruction would be defeated, and the old creation will then give birth to a new and better one. Sometimes Paul's prose just takes off and flies, as it does here in Romans 8. It's not just the Christians who are groaning with the pangs of childbirth, nor is it only their fellow inhabitants of the world. It is the whole creation itself that is longing for perfection, that is longing to be remade the way God intended it in the first place, perfect and eternal. Then the world will have come full circle, and what had begun in God will end in God. Meanwhile, we wait, we hope, and we groan. But the Spirit is with us. The Spirit is within us and around us. And when the situation around us is too confusing even to pray sensibly about it, the Spirit we have been given, the Spirit who knows us better than we know ourselves, is transparent to God's gaze. This is the Spirit of Jesus, our mediator and advocate, who takes not only our prayers, but our feelings, and makes them known and understood deep within the mind of God. From the spiritual to the practical tomorrow, we shall take a first look at Paul's developing and changing attitudes to marriage and the family. And I'll see you tomorrow.